Pawmo. It's a completely unique design with the stats of a god. So I asked myself, is it possible to beat Pokemon Scarlet using only a single Pawmo? Why did I choose Pawmo instead of the cute pre-evolution? Well, I don't hate myself that much. Still, Pawmo leaves a lot to be desired when it comes to its move pool, since its strongest fighting type move has an astonishing 65 power. The rules for this challenge are simple. I can only use a Pawmo and X items are not allowed, since that would make this challenge way too easy. I started the game off by choosing an appearance for a Pikachu-loving friend, and then had to watch a 3-minute long cutscene. Then I wake up from my desk, walk down the stairs, speak with the director of the school, and I put on the school drip and I was finally ready to choose my starter. I chose Fuecoco since he looked funny, and named him not Pikachu, since you know, he isn't. Not Pikachu, and I then battled Nemona and quickly disposed of her with 2 embers. Then the game tries to teach you how to catch a Pokemon by throwing a Lechonkin away, but I had other plans. After walking through the starter area, I found our friend for this challenge. After naming her Pikachu, I have to say goodbye to our dear Fuecoco. Then I watch a cutscene where the legendary Pokemon gets beaten by 2 Houndour, but then I fall down the cliff and I'm somehow saved by my phone? After feeding Bike Dragon a sandwich, it suddenly stands up and walks away on 2 legs. I follow it through the cave and have to face Pawmo's first obstacle, a Houndoom. After being rescued by the stand-up Bike Dragon, his sandwich juice runs out. Then some angry guy named Orven comes up to us and scolds our dragon. He then wants a battle, which I win since he only has a level 5 Chipmunk. After the battle, he gives us Bike Dragon's Pokeball and I can finally play the game. One thing that I found really useful in this game is that all trainer battles are now optional. The first thing I had to prepare for was the first real fight with Nemona. She had 2 Pokemon this time, so I leveled up Pawmo to level 11 and then started the fight. But here's how it went. Thankfully, it doesn't matter if you win this battle, so I moved on to Mesagoza, where I found a girl with colored hair who is getting bullied, but she won't be important to the plot at all, since I'm only challenged in the gyms, so let's just skip this. Then I went to the school, and like real life, I mashed through all the dialogue. I then got to the part where I get to ride Bike Dragon. And now that the game has opened up, I beelined it towards the first gym. After doing some grinding and doing an obstacle course with an olive, I faced off against the first raid boss, Katie. Being the first gym leader, you would think that she would be easy, right? Wrong. I lost 6 times before I could beat her. Could I have beaten her faster? Probably. But I insisted on not using any healing items during the first gym battle, which I now realize was a massive mistake. Next on the list, I decided to take on this giant bird who was throwing boulders at people for fun, which I shocked with Pawmo, and that made it reveal its hidden stash, which it started eating from. Pawmo then killed him again, and we raided its hideout and took its herbs. They made a sandwich from the unknown substance the Bike Dragon ate, which gave him the power to swim. I arrived in Cascarafa and was greeted by the gym leader who ran off somewhere, but he forgot his wallet, so the receptionist entrusted us with it for some reason. After a battle with his assistant, I returned his wallet, and then he wants us to use his money to bid at an auction, because he's craving colorful seaweed. Hard cut, I fight him and lost, so I do some more raids and feed Pawmo copious amounts of candy until it's enough for him to conquer the second gym. At this point in the run, I realized that I had done the gyms in completely wrong order, so I travel across the entire map with my overleveled Pawmo and defeat the grass gym with ease. Then I face the stony cliff titan, which allows Bike Dragon to run faster. After staring at this windmill that moves at a whopping 2 frames per second, I make my way towards the 4th gym. Upon entering the gym challenge, I meet Iono, the VTuber, and seeing this now, I'm glad this game didn't feature voice acting. After playing hide and seek and beating her Discord moderators, we get to fight her. She didn't really serve much of a challenge since Pawmo knew dig. One thing I thought was really funny was after the battle she asked you to smash that subscribe button, which is what you should scroll down and do right now. Please. Anyways, I made my way to Medali to fight the 5th gym leader, Larry. With the use of some inside information, I was able to correctly order the special meal required to transform the restaurant into a battlefield and murder all of the customers. With Pawmo being a fighting type, you'd think this gym should be a cakewalk, right? Wrong. This battle starts off with a sleepy koala who puts you to sleep, followed by whatever this thing is. An intense training arc later, and Pawmo is now able to one-shot the Kamala, skillfully dodge a drill run, and kill the big bird, which awarded us the badge. Jump scare! Nemona wants to fight, but this time she has a Pikachu of her own. After defeating her inferior mouse, she sent out her starter as a Hail Mary. And apparently that worked since she one-shot me. But this fight didn't matter anyway, so let's just move on. The next gym was the Ghost type gym, which only featured double battles. So I traveled back to the start to catch another Pawmi and named her Pikachu. This fight wasn't a big challenge since they gave you free Omni boosts for hitting super effective moves. The coolest thing about this fight was this cutscene. With my 2 rodents in hand, I crunched her entire team until she gave up the badge. After placing Pikachu in the box forever, I went to the Psychic Gym. But first, Nemona wants to battle again. I sweep through her team as usual and got one-shot by her starter again. Gym test. To challenge this gym leader, you have to dance first. This part isn't even a challenge since you can just mash all the buttons on your controller and still win. I was kind of scared going into this gym since, you know, Psychic beats fighting. But then, I remembered about the new gimmick of this game, which allows you to switch typing. So I just set up on her first Pokemon and then just used Crunch and everything, awarding me the gym badge. The last gym leader only had Ice types, so... And now with all 8 gym badges, it was time for the Elite 4. Throughout this whole run, this is the part I've been the most scared of. I prepared by defeating trainers on the beach to get an Eviolite, since that would make Pawmo a lot more tanky. Upon entry of the Pokemon League, you're immediately put into therapy for some reason. After that, it was time to face Rika, who only uses ground types. This was a big problem for my little electric rodent, so after a few failed attempts, I come up with a plan. I taught Pawmo Air Impulse and Charm to lower the opponent's attack, which allowed Pawmo to tank her ground type moves. Then I taught her Metal Claw, which would raise my attack. With this foolproof strat, I swept through an entire team with ease. Next up was this baby, which I used the exact same strat on, except this time she had steel types. After I low swept through an entire team, I had to face Larry. But this time, he had flying types. And unfortunate for him, Pawmo destroyed his team with stab electric moves. I shocked this Flamingo and moved on to Hassel, the dragon trainer. This fight was harder on paper than in execution. I used the exact same strat of lowering his attack and spamming Metal Claw. I think he threw with his last Pokemon by using a move that makes my next attack do double damage. But a win is a win, I guess. Now it was time for Champion Gira. Her team was pretty underwhelming for the most part, because almost everyone on her team is either weak to Crunch or low sweep, which made this fight incredibly easy. I started off by crunching her Espathra, then I used Metal Claw on Avalog and Go-Go since they couldn't really fight back. And then I voided up Pawmo, low swept through King Gambit, crunched Velusa and killed her extremely underwhelming ace. And just like that, Pawmo was now the champion of Paldea. But there was one more trainer left. And I got killed by her starter again.